I leaned against the kitchen counter, stirring my coffee, and watched Adrian scroll through his phone. "Did you even hear me?" I asked, pretending to be casual. He looked up with a smile that could melt anyone, but I felt a small shiver. "Of course, what's up?" I hesitated. "You said you'd be home by 7. It's almost 8. He waved a hand dismissively. "Traffic, babe. You know me, right? Always late." "I guess," I said, forcing a laugh. But the knot in my stomach wouldn't loosen. Later Lily called. "Hey, how's Adrian?" Her tone was warm, but I sensed the underlying caution. "He's fine," I said too quickly. "Just busy." "Busy or avoiding you?" she asked bluntly. I laughed nervously. "You're imagining things." "You know I'm not," she said softly. "I just don't want you hurt." "I won't get hurt," I whispered, though my heart disagreed. Adrian appeared in the doorway, hair slightly messy, shirt wrinkled, but that smile, oh, that smile was irresistible. "Hey, love. What's with the worried face?" "I was just thinking about dinner," I said, trying to sound normal. He shrugged and sat beside me. "Why do you always worry? I told you I've got everything under control." "I know," I said, my voice barely above a whisper. I like knowing you're here." He grabbed my hand. "See? We're fine. Always fine." But fine didn't feel fine. Later that night, as we watched a movie, he nudged me playfully. "You've been distant today." "I'm not distant," I said, shifting uncomfortably. "Yes, you are. Something's on your mind." I hesitated. "It's nothing." "Nothing." His eyes narrowed, not in anger, but in that sharp way he always did when he suspected something. "You're lying. I can tell." I sighed. "Maybe I just sometimes feel like I don't know what's going on with you." He laughed softly, brushing my hair back. "You worry too much. That's your thing, not mine." But I felt the worry anyway. The next morning, Lily showed up unannounced, coffee in hand. "I thought you might need this." I hugged her tightly. "Thanks. You're the only one who checks on me without judgment. Adrian's sweet and all, but don't let him blind you," she said gently. "I'm not blind," I argued. "I love him. I trust him." "You think you do," she said quietly. "But sometimes love isn't enough to see the cracks." I frowned but let the words slide. I wanted to believe in the perfection of us. Later, Adrian called me from work. "Hey, don't worry about dinner again. I've got plans here." "I'm not worried," I said, though my chest tightened. "Good," he said, voice calm. "I hate it when you worry. Makes me feel trapped." I swallowed. "I just care." "I know," he said, soft and convincing. "That's why I love you." I wanted to believe him, and I did mostly. But late that night, as I lay awake listening to the quiet apartment, a small voice whispered, "What if this isn't as perfect as it seems?" And for the first time, I didn't have an answer. I caught Adrian staring at his phone, a strange expression on his face. "Who's that?" I asked casually, trying to keep my tone light. "Huh? Oh, no one," he said, quickly locking the screen. "No one." I raised an eyebrow. "You look tense." He laughed nervously. "Just work stuff. You know, emails and all that." "I see." But my stomach twisted. It didn't feel like just work. Later I called Lily. "Something's wrong with Adrian," I admitted, pacing the small living room. "You think or you know?" she asked sharply. I don't know," I whispered. "He lied about a meeting. I found messages. He said he was somewhere he wasn't." "See? I told you," she said firmly. "He's hiding things." "I love him, Lily. I want to believe him." "Believing him won't stop him from hurting you," she said. "You need to open your eyes." "I'm not ready," I muttered. "I need proof." The next day I confronted him. "Adrian, where were you yesterday? You said work." "I was at work," he replied smoothly, sliding next to me on the couch. "Why do you always doubt me?" "Because," I struggled, heart pounding. "Because I saw the messages. You said you were somewhere else." His brow furrowed, but he smiled. "Oh, that. I was helping a friend. Didn't want to worry you." "Helping a friend?" I repeated, voice shaky. "Then why lie?" He reached for my hand. "I wasn't lying. I just didn't want you stressed over nothing. You worry too much." I wanted to believe him. I wanted to let it go. But the unease lingered. Later, Lily stopped by unexpectedly. You need to talk to me, she said, eyes sharp. About what? I asked defensively. About him. He's charming, right? But charm hides control. Lies, excuses, don't ignore them. I love him. I trust him, I said, but even as the words left my lips, they sounded hollow. Trust is earned, she said firmly. Not given blindly. You can't ignore patterns, no matter how much you want to. I bit my lip, nodding. Her words cut deeper than I expected. That evening, Adrian invited me to dinner. Just you and me, he said, smiling. I'll come, I said, though hesitation lingered. At the restaurant, he pulled me close. See? We're fine. Nothing to worry about. I hope so, I whispered, forcing a smile. Afterward, he brushed my hair back, leaning in. You know I love you, right? I know, I said, heart aching and confused. I need to trust fully. He laughed softly. You will. You always do. But as I walked home alone later, my phone buzzed. A message from someone unknown, addressed to Adrian. A hint of betrayal, subtle but undeniable. My chest tightened. And suddenly, the perfect life I believed in felt fragile, like glass ready to shatter. I never thought a single text could shatter everything. But there it was, glaring at me from Adrian's phone screen. I had meant to charge it, but it lit up with a message that froze my blood. Who is she? I whispered, voice trembling. Adrian looked up from his laptop, calm, too calm. Who? The woman in your messages. The ones where you said you'd never see me again. I spat, voice rising. Adrian, what is this? He leaned back, fingers steepled. I can explain. Explain. I laughed bitterly. You lied. You betrayed me. You made me believe everything we had was real. It wasn't like that, he said smoothly, but there was no warmth in his eyes. I didn't mean to hurt you. Didn't mean to? Adrian, this isn't a small mistake. My hands shook as I waved the phone at him. You've been lying about everything. The dates, the meetings, your work trips. All of it. He shrugged. I had my reasons. You wouldn't understand. Try me. I shouted. I trusted you. I loved you. And you? My throat tightened. You played me. He met my gaze evenly. I did what I had to. Life isn't perfect, you know. No, I said, chest burning. Not perfect. You made it hell for me while pretending we were happy. The words barely left my lips when the doorbell rang. I froze. Adrian frowned. Who is that? I didn't answer. I opened the door and Marcus stood there, calm but concerned. Hey, I heard you might need someone to talk to, he said softly. I blinked. Marcus? I don't know what to do. I figured as much, he said gently. Mind if I come in? Adrian stiffened. She doesn't need outside interference. I do, I said, surprising even myself. I need help. Marcus stepped inside, closing the door behind him. It's okay. Whatever's happening, you don't have to face it alone. I sank onto the couch, phone still in hand. I found out everything. Adrian's been with someone else. While lying to me. Marcus nodded, eyes steady. I'm sorry. That's a lot to process. It's not just that, I said, voice shaking. He's been manipulating me, controlling me, making me think I'm imagining things, making me doubt myself. And I fell for it. You're not imagining it, Marcus said firmly. You've been blinded by trust, but now you see clearly. I shook my head, feeling both relief and despair. It hurts. I don't know how to even think straight. You don't have to figure it out alone, Marcus said. Step by step. You deserve better. Adrian's face darkened. She doesn't need your pity. She's not asking for pity, I said, voice gaining strength. I'm done being your puppet. I can fix this, Adrian said, voice almost pleading. No, I said, voice firm. You can't fix what's broken inside me now. I can't trust you, not after this. Not ever. I looked at Marcus, the steadiness in his eyes giving me a strange sense of hope. For the first time in days, I felt the possibility of a life beyond Adrian's lies. Adrian's lips parted, as if he wanted to say something, but I didn't wait. I grabbed my bag, feeling the weight of heartbreak and fury. This isn't over, he muttered, but his words sounded hollow even to him. I didn't answer. I stepped outside, Marcus beside me, and as the door closed behind us, I realized I could no longer pretend everything was fine. The man I loved had betrayed me in the most devastating way, and nothing would ever make me trust him again. I locked the apartment door behind me, the click sounding louder than it should. The space that once felt like home now felt like a trap. I sank onto the couch, phone in hand, staring at messages I couldn't bring myself to delete. Lily's call came first. "How are you holding up?" she asked softly. I don't know," I whispered, voice breaking. "It's like the air's been knocked out of me." "You need to breathe even if it feels impossible," she said firmly. "Let's meet. You don't have to face this alone." "I don't want to be a burden," I said, though I knew that wasn't true. "You're not a burden," she said sharply. "You're human. Come on. Coffee. My treat." I agreed, dragging myself out the door. At the cafe, Lily grabbed my hand the moment I sat down. "You're letting him control your life even now," she said quietly. "I can't help it," I admitted. "I keep thinking maybe I misunderstood. Maybe he has a reason." "You didn't misunderstand," she said. "He lied. You trusted him. That's not your fault." "I ignored all the signs," I said, tears slipping down. "I knew something was off, but I didn't listen. I wanted it to be perfect." "Perfect doesn't exist," Lily said. "You gave him too much power over your happiness. That's all." I nodded, feeling both shame and relief. I don't even recognize myself anymore. I feel empty. Marcus called later. "Want to take a walk?" he asked. "Fresh air might help." I hesitated, then said yes. Outside, the city felt too bright, too loud, but Marcus's presence grounded me. "You're stronger than you think," he said. "Losing him doesn't make you weak." "I feel weak," I admitted. "Like I fell apart in front of everyone." "You're not falling apart," he said firmly. "You're learning who you are without him." We passed the park where Adrian and I had picnicked, and my chest tightened. "It's strange," I whispered. "This place used to feel ours. Now it's just a memory." "Memories change," Marcus said. "You can make new ones. Ones that belong to you, not him." I looked down, thinking about a letter I found tucked in my drawer. A small note he had written months ago, promising forever. I crumpled it in my hand, finally letting some of the anger out. "I hate that I believed him," I muttered. "I hate that I let him manipulate me." "You learned," Marcus said. "That counts for more than you know. You'll rebuild yourself piece by piece." I thought about my reflection in the cafe window earlier, the red eyes, the pale cheeks, the hollow smile. "I have a choice," I said finally. "I can let this destroy me, or I can try to be better than before." "And you will," Marcus said quietly. "Step by step. I'll be here if you need me." I nodded, feeling a flicker of something I hadn't felt in days, hope. Small, fragile, but real. Walking back home, I realized that the world hadn't ended. It had shifted, yes, but I could navigate it. I didn't have Adrian's hand guiding me anymore, and maybe that was for the best. I took a deep breath. The apartment was empty, the silence heavy, but this time I didn't feel trapped. I felt ready. Ready to face the life I had to build on my own. I walked into the new office building, chest tight with nerves. The smell of fresh coffee and polished floors made my stomach twist. "First day jitters?" a cheerful voice asked. I turned to see a woman smiling warmly. "Yes, a little," I admitted. "I'm Rachel. I'll show you around," she said, gesturing for me to follow. "Thank you," I said, trying to steady my voice. As we walked, I glanced at the bustling office, coworkers typing and chatting. "I haven't done anything like this before," I murmured. "You'll be fine," Rachel said. "Everyone starts somewhere. You just need to try." I nodded, but my hands shook. I can't fail again, I thought. I won't let fear control me. Later, Marcus called. "How's the new job?" he asked. "Nervous," I admitted. "But excited too." "Good," he said. "That's how growth starts. One step at a time." During lunch, a colleague, Sam, joined me. "You're new, right?" "I'm Sam. Need a partner for the project." "Sure," I said cautiously. "I'd like that." As we reviewed the files, I realized I understood more than I thought. I I can do this, I whispered under my breath. You're doing fine, Sam said, glancing at me. Confidence is key. I smiled, feeling a small surge of pride. Maybe I can trust myself again, I thought. After work, I met Lily at a cafe. How was it? She asked eagerly. Better than I expected, I said, stirring my coffee. People are kind and helpful. I feel capable. That's the first step, she said. See? You're reclaiming your life. I didn't think I could, I admitted. Adrian made me feel powerless. But today, I felt in control, even a little. That's how it starts, Lily said. Small victories. They add up. The next morning, I hesitated before opening my inbox. I can't let fear stop me, I told myself. I typed my first report carefully, double-checking every detail. When I sent it, my chest swelled slightly. I did it. Later, Rachel stopped by. Great work today, she said. I can see you're going to be an asset here. Thank you, I said, and for the first time in months, my smile felt genuine. On my way home, I passed a bookstore I used to love. I paused, looking at the display of journals. Without thinking, I went inside and bought one. A place to plan my future, I thought, and record my thoughts. My life, my rules. At home, I opened the journal and wrote, Today I did something for me. I faced fear and survived. I am stronger than I believed. Marcus called later. Feeling accomplished? He asked. A little, I admitted. But it's more than that. I feel like I can start trusting myself again. That's the first step, he said. Keep walking. I closed my eyes, taking a deep breath. For the first time in months, I felt hope, fragile but real. A tiny flame of courage burned inside me. And for the first time, I wasn't just surviving. I was beginning to live. I was scrolling through my feed when a familiar face popped up. Adrian laughing with someone new. My chest tightened and my fingers froze over the screen. Why are you looking at that? Marcus asked, noticing my silence. I trailed off, forcing a laugh. It's nothing. Nothing, he pressed. You look like you've seen a ghost. I guess it's just a reminder, I admitted, of what I left behind. You don't need reminders, Marcus said. He's behind you now. I nodded, but the unease lingered. That evening, Lily called. Did you see the news? She asked. What news? I asked cautiously. Adrian's project failed. Publicly. People are talking. He mismanaged everything and burned bridges. I frowned. I shouldn't care. But I do. That's normal, she said. You cared once. But let it remind you why you left. Not to drag you back. The next day, I ran into someone from my old job, Vanessa. Hey, aren't you? She paused, recognizing me. Oh wow. It's been a while. Heard about Adrian. I stiffened. I don't want to talk about him. She leaned closer. You should know. He cheated, lied, and everyone's just starting to realize it. I went through a lot because of him too. You did? I asked, surprised. Vanessa nodded, eyes hard. I thought I was the only one. But no. He's toxic. I always suspected, I said softly. But it hurt too much to see clearly. Exactly, she said. You can't let him manipulate you again. That's what I'm trying to say. Learn from it. Move on. I swallowed hard. I am moving on. Slowly. But it's hard not to think of the past sometimes. Vanessa smiled faintly. Good. Use it to fuel yourself. Don't let him have that power anymore. Later, Marcus and I met at a cafe. I ran into Vanessa, I said. She confirmed. He's really done wrong by a lot of people. Marcus nodded. See? Karma's catching up. And you're watching it from the right side. I don't want revenge, I said. But I want to feel strong. Independent. Not like before. You can, he said. Small steps. Every decision, every boundary counts. I think I should start asserting myself more, I said, a plan forming. Set boundaries. Speak up. Make it clear I won't be walked over again. That's the way, Marcus said. Control your life, not him. Focus on yourself. I smiled faintly, feeling the weight on my shoulders lift slightly. It feels good to think about my life, my choices, not him. Exactly, he said. You can't change him, but you can change you. That night I sat by my window, thinking about Adrian's arrogance, the lies, the manipulation. The anger still burned, but it felt different, like fuel, not poison. I opened my journal and wrote, "I'm not the same. I see the truth now. I won't let the past define me. I choose me." And for the first time in weeks, I felt the shadow of my past shrinking, powerless against my growing determination. I met Marcus at the cafe again, the smell of coffee grounding me. "You're here early," I said, trying to hide the flutter in my chest. "I like to be prepared," he said, smiling. "How are you holding up?" "Better," I admitted. "But it's strange. I feel like I'm learning who I am without him." "That's exactly it," he said. "You're finding yourself again. One step at a time." I hesitated, stirring my coffee. I don't want to trust people too easily anymore. I can't go through what I did before. "You won't," he said firmly. "I'm not him. And I'm not going to hurt you." "I know," I said softly. "But it's hard to shake that fear." "Then lean on me," he said gently. "It's okay to accept help. You don't have to do everything alone." I nodded, feeling a warmth I hadn't realized I'd missed. "Thank you," I whispered. Later that week, Marcus helped me plan a small project at work. "You're better at this than you think," he said. "I'm scared I'll fail," I admitted. "You might," he said honestly. "But failing doesn't make you weak. It makes you stronger, if you learn from it." I smiled, appreciating the honesty. I want to start standing up for myself. Not just at work, everywhere. "You can," he said. "Small actions, small victories. Set boundaries, make choices for yourself. That's your power." I took a deep breath. I think I can do that. I just need to keep practicing. "Exactly," he said. "And you're not alone. I'll help where I can." A few days later, Marcus and I walked past a local newsstand. A headline caught my eye. "Adrian's latest venture collapses amid scandal." "I shouldn't care," I murmured, fingers clutching the paper. "You can care without being dragged back," Marcus said. "This is just information, not your burden anymore." I read the article aloud. He lied to investors. He burned bridges. Karma is catching up, it seems. Marcus nodded. "And you're watching it from the right side. Free. Independent." I felt a flicker of satisfaction. A small but undeniable sense of justice. "It feels strange to feel glad about it," I admitted. "Not strange," Marcus said. "It's natural. You're reclaiming your life." I laughed softly, feeling some of the tension lift. I never thought I'd feel this alive again. Even after everything. "You deserve it," he said, eyes locking with mine for a moment longer than usual. "You really do." I looked away, heart racing. "Thanks, Marcus. For being here. For everything." He shrugged, casual but steady. "Someone has to make sure you don't forget how strong you are." Later, I reflected on the past months, the lies, the betrayal, the heartbreak. I realized I was not powerless anymore. Each step I took, each small boundary I set was a step toward freedom. "I'm done letting him control me," I whispered to myself that night, journal open. "I choose my life. I choose me." And then a message pinged on my phone. It was a mutual acquaintance. "Did you hear about Adrian? Things aren't going well for him. Maybe you'll find this satisfying." I stared at it, heart racing, the first true mix of shock and anticipation in weeks. The pieces were falling into place, and I knew the next chapter of his downfall, and my triumph, was just beginning. I sat at the cafe, journal open, thinking through every detail of Adrian's lies. "I can't just let this go," I said aloud, more to myself than anyone else. "You mean revenge," Marcus said, raising an eyebrow. "I mean justice," I corrected quickly. "I want him to see what he's done, and how it hurt everyone around him. I want him exposed." "That's dangerous," Marcus said cautiously. "Are you sure this is what you want?" "I'm sure," I said, voice steady. "I can't keep being the victim. I have to take control, even if it scares me." Lily leaned across the table. "I don't know if revenge is the answer. Forgiveness might free you more than this will." "I'm not ready for forgiveness," I said firmly. "Not yet. I need him to face the consequences first. Then maybe I can think about letting go." Marcus nodded. "Okay, but do it smart. Don't let anger make you reckless. I won't, I said, flipping through my notes. I've been observing him. His arrogance, his patterns, he thinks he's untouchable. That's where I can strike. Lily frowned. You're going to play mind games? Not games, I said, eyes burning. Strategy. Every lie, every manipulation he made, I'm cataloging it. I'll expose him subtly, without looking like the bitter ex. That's calculated, Marcus said, impressed despite himself. I have to be careful, I continued. If I slip, it'll backfire. But if I do it right, he'll face the fallout. Slowly, naturally. Karma, yes, but guided. Lily sighed. Just be careful. I don't want you getting hurt again. I know, I said softly. But I can't sit by anymore. I need to reclaim my life, and part of that is making him accountable. Marcus leaned back, studying me. You're serious. You've changed. The person you were before would have crumbled at the thought of confrontation. I swallowed. I've learned. I've watched, I've reflected. I know my weaknesses. And I know his. You're scarily prepared, Lily said. I hope it works, but what if it doesn't? It will, I said, more to convince myself than them. I've planned every step. Timing, witnesses, documentation. Every move counts. Just then my phone buzzed. A contact I hadn't expected. A former colleague of Adrian's, sending me a tip about one of his secret deals gone wrong. I froze. Marcus. Lily, look at this. They leaned over as I read the message aloud, detailing financial missteps and lies Adrian had told investors. This could work, I whispered, heart pounding. If I use this carefully, it'll expose him without anyone suspecting me. But what if he finds out you're behind it? Lily asked, voice tight. Then I cover my tracks, I said, a cold thrill running through me. He won't see it coming. Marcus put a hand on my shoulder. You're really doing this. I can feel the shift in you. Just promise me you'll stay safe. I will, I said, determination blazing. This is the first real step toward taking back everything he tried to steal from me. As I closed the journal, my phone buzzed again. A cryptic message from an unknown number. He knows someone's watching. Be careful. I froze. My heart skipped. The game had begun. I couldn't believe my eyes when I saw the headline. Adrian's company faces major fallout after investor backlash. My chest tightened, a mix of relief and unease swirling inside me. Did you see this? I asked Marcus, showing him the screen. He glanced at it. Wow, that's big. How do you feel? Conflicted, I admitted. Part of me wants to celebrate, but another part. I feel sorry for him. Even after everything. That's normal, Marcus said. You cared once. But look at him now. He's facing the results of his choices. I leaned back, thinking about all the lies, the manipulation, the heartbreak. It's strange to watch someone I loved unravel. I thought I hated him, but it's more complicated. You're growing, Marcus said softly. You can feel more than one thing at once. That's strength. Later, I bumped into Vanessa, the woman who had also suffered because of Adrian. You heard? She asked, voice tight. Yes, I said. It's happening. She nodded. He hurt a lot of people. I always thought karma would catch him, but seeing it happen, it's different. It is, I agreed. And he's still arrogant, thinking he can charm his way out of anything. He won't, Vanessa said firmly. Not this time. The next day I found myself at a networking event, trying to rebuild my career. I overheard whispers about Adrian, his deals falling apart, colleagues turning against him. I forced myself to stay composed. Are you okay? Marcus asked, noticing my tense shoulders. I am, I said, though my heart raced. It's surreal. I see the truth of who he is, and I see how much I've changed. You've changed, Marcus said. Look at you. Confident, assertive. You're not the girl who would have taken any excuse before. I know, I said softly. I can set boundaries now. I can protect myself. I'm not dependent on anyone's approval. Later, a mutual acquaintance cornered me. You must feel vindicated, she said, eyes wide. I do, I admitted. But it's complicated. I don't want him hurt exactly. I want justice. Fair consequences for his actions. That's karmic, she said. Not revenge. Just life correcting itself. I nodded, feeling a flicker of satisfaction. Yes, that's exactly it. Then I saw him, Adrian, across the room. His smile was tight, forced. He approached, voice smooth but strained. I heard about things. I'm sorry. Sorry. I echoed, voice steady. After everything? Sorry doesn't fix it, Adrian. You made your choices. I can explain, he said, desperation creeping in. No, I said firmly. I don't need explanations. I need honesty and accountability. You failed at both. He stared, then walked away, shoulders stiff, leaving me with a strange mix of satisfaction and lingering sorrow. Marcus nudged me gently. See? You're untouchable now. Not because of arrogance, but because you learned, you grew. You can watch life correct itself without being pulled back in. I feel powerful, I admitted. Not in the way I thought I wanted. Not revenge. Just freedom. Awareness. Exactly, he said. You've reclaimed yourself. And it's messy, unpredictable, but real. That night I reflected on everything, the lies, the heartbreak, the manipulations. Adrian's downfall wasn't neat or perfect, but it was just. And I realized I didn't need to intervene directly. I could live my life fully, letting consequences unfold naturally. I opened my journal, writing, I've changed. I'm no longer naive. I see clearly now, and I choose my life, not his shadows. And for the first time I felt untethered, free, and ready for the unpredictable journey ahead. I stood in the empty apartment, sunlight streaming through the windows. Boxes were stacked neatly, and for the first time in months, I felt a sense of control. You really did it, Marcus said, stepping inside with a small smile. I did, I replied, brushing dust off my hands. It's strange being here alone, yet feeling whole. Alone but not lonely, he said. You've rebuilt yourself. I nodded, smiling faintly. It took leaving his world behind, seeing clearly, and realizing I deserved better. Later, Lily came by with a small plant. For your new place, she said, placing it on the counter. Thank you, I said, touched. It's symbolic, isn't it? She laughed. Exactly. Growth. You're finally growing for yourself, not someone else. I feel lighter, I admitted. I've started a new project at work. I'm leading it myself. No one controlling me, no one questioning my abilities. That's amazing, Lily said, eyes shining. I'm proud of you. At the cafe later, Marcus leaned across the table. You look different, he said. Confident. Assertive. You're not the same person Adrian left behind. I've had time to think, I said. To rebuild, redefine who I am. And I realized, I'm stronger than I believed. You should be proud, he said. You didn't just survive, you thrived. I smiled, feeling the weight lift further. I even cut ties with toxic acquaintances. People who reminded me of the past. Only those who support me remain. And that's how it should be, Marcus said. Boundaries are power. That evening I walked through the city streets, noting small details. Shops I'd never noticed, cafes that smelled inviting, streets that felt new. Everything feels different, I whispered to myself. You're seeing it, Marcus said beside me. Through your own eyes, not through his shadow. Yes, I said. And it's freeing. I even changed my look a little, new haircut, new style. Symbolic of leaving the old me behind. Visible change for internal change, he said. I like it. Back at the apartment, I opened my journal. Today I truly own my life. I am not defined by him, his lies, or his arrogance. I am myself. Strong, capable, free. I can't believe how far I've come, I whispered aloud. You earned this, Marcus said softly. Step by step, you reclaimed your world. I thought about Adrian, about the heartbreak, the manipulation, the lies. I didn't feel anger anymore. Not the bitter, consuming anger. Just a calm understanding that I'd moved beyond it. I'm free, I said aloud, a small smile forming. Not just from him, but from fear, from doubt, from everything that held me back. Lily's plant caught the sunlight, green and vibrant. I touched its leaves gently. Life keeps growing, I said. And so do I. Marcus glanced at me, quiet admiration in his eyes. You're unstoppable now. I don't need to be unstoppable, I said softly. I just need to be me. Fully, completely me. For the first time in months, I sat on the balcony sipping tea, watching the city pulse beneath me. The air felt lighter. My heart felt lighter. And for the first time, I didn't feel the shadow of Adrian looming behind me. I was free. Truly free. I stepped onto the balcony of my new apartment, sunlight warming my face. The city stretched before me, endless and inviting. I took a deep breath, letting the air fill my lungs. "You're really smiling," Marcus said, leaning against the doorframe. "I am," I admitted. "It feels different. Light. Free. You deserve it," he said quietly. "After everything, you've earned this peace." "I never thought I'd feel this way," I said, tracing the edge of the balcony with my fingers. After Adrian, after all the lies, I wondered if happiness was possible. "And now?" he asked. "Now it feels real. I've learned to trust myself, not anyone else blindly. I've learned boundaries, self-respect, courage," I said, voice steady. "And the people who matter, who truly care, are still here." Lily walked in with a tray of coffee. "Did someone mention courage?" she teased, setting the cups down. "Exactly," I said, smiling. "I've faced the worst and I'm still standing. I've reclaimed my life." "You've grown," Lily said warmly. "I'm proud of you." I took a sip of coffee, letting the warmth spread. I've reflected on everything, the betrayal, the heartbreak. And I realize now that it wasn't just about Adrian. It was about me too. I ignored my instincts, ignored warning signs. But I've learned from it. I'm stronger because of it. Marcus nodded. And stronger doesn't mean bitter. You've kept your heart while reclaiming yourself. That's rare. I want to live fully, I said. Not just survive. And I'm doing it. Slowly, carefully, but intentionally. Lily smiled. You're finally choosing yourself. That's the best revenge in a way. I think so, I said softly. Though watching karma unfold, that has a satisfying element too. Adrian? Marcus asked, curious. Yes, I said, eyes narrowing slightly. He's facing the consequences now. Investors leaving, colleagues abandoning him. He's arrogant, but the world is correcting itself without me touching it. I don't need to intervene. Justice is messy, unpredictable, but fair. I'm glad you see it that way, Marcus said. You've moved beyond needing personal revenge. Yes, I said. I'm beyond needing anything from him. My life isn't about him anymore. It's about me, my choices, my happiness. Lily sipped her coffee. And what about the future? I smiled faintly, looking out over the city skyline. I want new adventures, new friendships, challenges. I want to take risks, career, life, love, but on my terms. I won't let anyone control or deceive me again. That's inspiring, Marcus said. Truly. I laughed softly. It's been hard, but I've realized something essential. Pain doesn't have to define me. Betrayal doesn't have to chain me. Growth, courage, self-respect, they define me now. And they always will, Lily said. You've built yourself anew. I looked at both of them, feeling a swell of gratitude. I couldn't have done it without support, honest advice, and a reminder that I'm capable. But ultimately, this is my life, my choices, my horizon. Cheers to new beginnings, Marcus said, raising his cup. To freedom, I said, clinking my cup gently against theirs. I gazed at the horizon once more, sunlight dancing on the buildings. My past, Adrian, the heartbreak, all were behind me now. Ahead lay endless possibilities, challenges I was ready to face, and life I was finally ready to claim. And for the first time in a long time, I felt whole, hopeful, and truly completely free. I sit by my balcony, the city humming below, and think about how far I've come. Months ago, I was shattered, betrayed, and unsure of who I was. Adrian's lies, the heartbreak, the manipulation, they nearly defined me. But now, I realize they were only the catalyst for my transformation. I can't believe how strong you've become, Marcus said once, and I remember nodding, silently agreeing. Strength doesn't always roar. Sometimes it's quiet. It's choosing yourself when everything in you wants to doubt. Lily's words echo too. Growth isn't linear, but it's yours. I've learned to trust myself, to set boundaries, to recognize toxicity before it takes root. I've learned that happiness isn't dependent on anyone but me. I smile, remembering the moments of despair, the nights I cried alone, the mornings I forced myself out of bed despite the weight of sorrow. I remember the spark of defiance the first time I reclaimed a small victory. Submitting a project on my own, walking away from toxic acquaintances, asserting my voice when I had been silenced for too long. Those tiny acts became the bricks of a foundation stronger than any illusion Adrian ever offered. Freedom isn't given. It's claimed. I whispered to myself one evening, realizing that was the truth. I had reclaimed my life, not by revenge alone, but by cultivating resilience, by making deliberate choices that served me. Each step, each decision was a stitch in the fabric of my rebirth. I look around my apartment, at Lily's plant thriving by the window, at the journal where I poured my thoughts, at the small projects I now manage with confidence. Every object, every memory, is a reminder of the journey from heartbreak to empowerment. I think of Adrian, a shadow fading in my mind. His downfall was inevitable. Life has a way of balancing itself. I don't rejoice in his suffering, nor do I dwell on it. I only acknowledge that the universe, in its unpredictable ways, has corrected what I could not. What now? I ask myself quietly, and the answer comes not from fear, but from possibility. I will continue to grow, to explore, to love, not blindly but wisely. I will nurture friendships, chase ambitions, and embrace challenges that once terrified me. I close my journal, a sense of calm settling in. The pain, the lessons, the betrayals, they have shaped me, yes, but they do not define me. I am more than my past. I am resilience. I am self-love. I am free. And as the city lights flicker on, a quiet excitement stirs within me. The future is unwritten, a horizon of choices and opportunities. For the first time in a long time, I am ready and eager to live the life I have claimed, fully and unapologetically.